Imagine a master key. A single, perfect key capable of unlocking every digital door on the planet. It can walk through the walls of major banks. It can open the gates of nuclear power plants. It can shut down the life support systems in your local hospital. For 5 years, the United States National Security Agency held this key in their hands. They spent millions of tax dollars perfecting it. They kept it hidden in the dark, using it to spy on enemies, to watch the world in secret. They called it EternalBlue, but then they dropped it, and someone else picked it up. This is not a story about a teenage hacker trying to steal credit cards. This is the story of how the most powerful intelligence agency in history built a digital monster to save us, and then accidentally set it loose to destroy us. The weapon is out, and no one knows how to put it back in the box. To understand the magnitude of this failure, we have to go inside the black box. We have to go to Fort Meade, Maryland. Hidden behind layers of barbed wire and armed guards lies the headquarters of the NSA. And deep within that fortress operates a unit so secretive, for years, the government denied it even existed. They are called the Tailored Access Operations Unit, or TAO. These aren't your typical basement-dwelling hackers. These are the elite, the prodigies, the smartest mathematicians and coders America has to offer. Their job is simple: break into foreign networks, steal secrets, and remain invisible. Around 2011, the TAO stumbled upon a holy grail. They discovered a flaw in the very foundation of Microsoft Windows, a vulnerability in the way computers share files and printers. It was a door that had been left unlocked for decades, present in almost every computer on Earth. Ethically, the NSA had a choice. They could tell Microsoft, patch the hole, and secure the digital infrastructure of the world. Or they could keep it a secret. They could weaponize it. They chose the weapon. They spent years refining the code, turning a simple bug into EternalBlue. It was a masterpiece of cyber engineering. It allowed an attacker to take full control of a target computer without the user ever clicking a link or downloading a file. It was silent. It was perfect. And the NSA kept it in their digital armory, hoarding it like a dragon guarding gold. But secrets, no matter how deep they are buried, have a way of surfacing. In August 2016, the silence at Fort Meade was shattered. A mysterious group calling themselves the Shadow Brokers emerged from the digital fog. They didn't just claim to have hacked the NSA. They offered proof. They posted samples of the stolen code online, accompanied by broken English manifestos that mocked the American spies. It was humiliating. The world's premier spy agency had been burgled, but the Shadow Brokers were strange. They weren't looking for justice. They were looking for money. They tried to auction the stolen cyber weapons to the highest bidder. For months, the auction sat quiet. No one bought the weapons. The world held its breath, hoping the thieves were bluffing, or that the files were encrypted beyond repair. But when the auction failed, the Shadow Brokers did something far worse than selling the weapon. On the 14th of April 2017, in a final act of chaotic spite, they released the password. They dumped the entire EternalBlue toolkit onto the open internet for free. The master key was no longer in the hands of the elite. It was now lying on the sidewalk, waiting for any criminal, state agent, or anarchist to pick it up. The weapon was on the loose. The digital world held its breath. It didn't take long for the first strike. Just 1 month after the leak, North Korea picked up the NSA's tool. They wrapped it in a crude piece of ransomware called WannaCry. In a single weekend, it tore through hospitals in the UK, factories in China, and railways in Germany. It was a global panic. But WannaCry was flawed. It was sloppy. A British researcher found a kill switch by accident, and the bleeding stopped. The world exhaled. Security experts patted themselves on the back. They thought they had survived the worst of it. They were wrong. WannaCry was just the warning shot. The real bombardment was yet to come. June 27, 2017, A warm summer day in Kiev, Ukraine. Inside the offices of ME-Doc, a small family-run software company that handles accounting for virtually every business in the country. A server pushes out a routine update. It looks normal. It feels normal. But buried inside that update is a payload injected by the most dangerous cyber military unit in the Russian GRU, the Sandworm team. This time, they aren't using a flawed copy of EternalBlue. They are using a weaponized, military-grade version. And they aren't targeting random individuals. They are targeting the infrastructure of an entire nation. At 2 p.m., the update hits. In seconds, computers across Ukraine begin to go black. Banks shut down. ATMs spit out cards. The radiation monitoring systems at Chernobyl fail. The Kiev metro system grinds to a halt, but the internet has no borders. The malware, dubbed NotPetya, doesn't care about geography. It jumps from the Ukrainian networks into the VPNs of multinational corporations partnering with them. It escapes the battlefield. Suddenly, in Copenhagen, the headquarters of Maersk, the world's largest shipping conglomerate, goes dark. The screens don't just lock, they die. In the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, captains on massive container ships lose contact with the shore. They are sailing blind. In New Jersey, the pharmaceutical giant Merck sees 30,000 computers fried in minutes. Their manufacturing plants stop making life-saving drugs. In Tennessee, FedEx operations are paralyzed. This was chaos on a scale never seen before. Administrators were running down hallways, ripping Ethernet cables out of walls, screaming at employees to turn off their machines. But it was faster than them. EternalBlue allowed the malware to spread automatically, silently, relentlessly. It didn't need humans to make a mistake. It just needed a connection. As the dust settled, security researchers scrambled to analyze the code. They were looking for a way to decrypt the files, to pay the ransom, to fix the mess. That's when the blood ran cold. When you look at ransomware, usually there is a payment portal. There is a customer service key. There is a way to get your data back if you pay the thieves. But when analysts looked into the heart of NotPetya, they found nothing. The payment ID was fake. The encryption was a one-way street. The realization hit them like a physical blow. This wasn't a heist. The ransom note was just a disguise. The hackers didn't want money. They didn't want data. They wanted destruction. NotPetya was a wiper. It was designed to scrub everything clean, to burn the digital earth and leave nothing behind. The NSA's stolen spy tool had been transformed into a digital nuclear bomb, and it had just been detonated in the middle of the global economy. The screen stayed black for weeks. In the command centers of Maersk, the world's shipping giant, the situation was desperate. Their entire global network of contact list, every shipping manifest, every bill of lading was gone. To survive, they had to rebuild their entire digital existence from scratch. 4,000 servers, 45,000 PCs, 2,500 applications, reinstalled, one by one, by hand. For 10 days, the global supply chain was held together by exhausted employees using personal Gmail accounts and WhatsApp messages on their phones. It was the same story at Merck, at FedEx, at Saint-Gobain. The digital backbone of modern commerce had been snapped. But who was to blame? The investigation was swift and absolute. Intelligence agencies from the US, UK, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand all pointed the finger in the same direction. They traced the digital footprints back to a specific building in Moscow, back to Unit 74455 of the Russian GRU, the Sandworm team. 6 Russian military intelligence officers were indicted by the US Department of Justice. Their faces were plastered on wanted posters. They were charged with conspiracy to commit computer fraud and abuse. These men will never see the inside of a courtroom. They are heroes in their own country, protected by the very state that ordered the attack. So, what was the verdict? The verdict was a bill sent to the innocent. The White House estimated the total damages of the NotPetya attack at $10 billion. It stands as the most costly, destructive cyberattack in human history. But the cost wasn't just financial, it was trust. We learned that in the modern world, a weapon made in America, stolen by anonymous thieves, and fired by a rival nation, can destroy a hospital in Pennsylvania or a factory in Tasmania. The NSA created EternalBlue to make America safer. Instead, they created a monster that recognized no flag and respected no border. The weapon didn't care who created it. It only knew how to destroy. In the years since NotPetya, the code for EternalBlue hasn't disappeared. It has evolved. It is still out there, floating in the dark corners of the web, being rewritten and sharpened by new hands. Criminal gangs use it. Nation-states study it. Teenagers download it. The attack on Ukraine proved something terrifying. The line between the virtual world and the physical world has been erased. We used to think of cyber attacks as something that happened inside computer-stolen emails, drained bank accounts, leaked photos. Annoying, but not deadly. NotPetya changed that forever. It showed us that lines of code can stop ships in the ocean. They can freeze the supply of medicine. They can turn off the lights in our homes. We have entered a new era of warfare, an era where there are no soldiers, no tanks, and no declarations of war. In this new battlefield, the most destructive weapons are not made of uranium or steel. They are made of logic and mathematics. And they are stockpiled not in silos, but on servers. The NSA built a gun to shoot at their enemies. But in the digital world, you cannot control the bullet once it leaves the chamber. And you certainly cannot control who picks up the gun after you drop it. The shadow war is no longer a secret. It is happening right now, in the background of our daily lives. The only question left isn't if it will happen again. The question is, when the next master key is stolen, will we be able to turn the lights back on?